Hey budget fam, welcome to the Anonymous Budgeter. If this is your first time here, welcome and thank you for watching this video. And if you are a returning subby, thank you so much for coming by again, especially since I've been gone for about over a month. But here on my channel, I'm documenting my journey towards paying off over $160,000 in student loans, as well as my journey towards financial independence and sharing my financial goals and my road to financial independence and financial peace. So as usual, if this is something you guys are super interested in, please stay tuned and let's get into the video, which is going to be basically me auditing my May budget so that we can move on finally to my June budget. Alright guys, so I wanted to start off this video with showing you guys my spending tracker for the month of May. Now, I had not been keeping with my spending tracker. I was not consistent with it. I actually had to go back and do this like a few days ago, like maybe last week. So it's always essential, especially if you fall off from budgeting. The first thing you always want to do is go back into your checking account, whatever accounts that you use, whether it's your checking, your debit account, or your credit cards. Go down and write all your spending. I break mine down like weekly, so I have different weeks, and then I just kind of like write everything down. After I write everything down, then that's when I go to do like the different categories. So I have a breakdown of like what categories that's important to me. So I have a bills category, I'll have gas, I'll have groceries, savings. You kind of can play around with it and see what works for you. When you're starting off, you probably don't want to have like a million and one different categories, but like as you get kind of like proficient with it, just so that you don't get too overwhelmed and then you kind of lose track of what you're tracking. But the key is to always keep it very simple. I mainly just use my debit card for everything. I try to not use my credit card as much just because things get convoluted and then it just gets a little bit too messy for me. Although I do still use my credit cards and I do have my cell phone bill goes towards my credit card. The payment comes out of my credit card, so I do have to account for that. But whatever works for you, you just kind of have to find your rhythm. So I basically had to go through and do all of these pages. So I just really wanted to show you guys and let you know that I feel like the spending tracker is so important, especially when you get off of your budgeting and you kind of are trying to catch up with everything. And then because I do have a weekly check-in, I just kind of wanted to keep up with my weekly check-ins and just kind of see what categories I was overspending in and things like that. But because I had fell off, I just kind of did this just because. So the budget closeout, I'm still not really perfect in the budget closeout because sometimes my numbers are just always all over the place because I have money coming out of my debit. I do sometimes make some charges on my credit card, and I do use cash. So I don't track my cash because I just feel like when I take out the cash, it is what it is. But last month, because I was not budgeting, I made some of my grocery payments on my debit card even though I had taken out cash for them. So it was just kind of a whole mess. But I just have the highlights and the breakdown of kind of what happened in May. And I feel like May was kind of a good month only because I was really I had already budgeted everything in the beginning of the month, right? So I had my monthly budget and I did the budget overview, which as you can see, I didn't even finish it because I'm not going to figure all of this out. So move that to the side. But I did have a monthly budget overview in the calendar form, which was really helpful for me. And then some things I had to revamp, some things I did, some things I didn't do. I can definitely tell you that the Mint Mobile was not in the month of May. It actually came out this month in June. I did pay my tithe for paycheck number 2, but I actually didn't pay my tithe for paycheck number 3, which I had to pay back in June. So me owing God is kind of really funny. I did make my Nelnet payment. My HP Inc. did come out. I didn't do my family payment. And then the June budget actually did take out the amount that I needed to. So that was really good. Let me get this bracelet off because it's kind of annoying. And then I did have the Nelnet payment on the 17th come out. So yeah, so just little things like that that I didn't like go back to do just because I wasn't keeping track of like what I needed to. But I had already, like I said, budgeted in the beginning of the month, and I knew it was like a paycheck, like a 3 paycheck month, one of those magic months. So I knew I had an extra payment. I knew I had to kind of budget 2 weeks out because my first paycheck in June was not going to be until the middle of the month. So I had already prepared for that, and that was really helpful. So that's kind of gave me the peace of mind to just kind of be YOLO with my budget, because I knew I already had a game plan, and as long as I didn't veer off too much from the budget, then I would be fine. And I wasn't like spending or like making purchases that was unplanned, or like miscellaneous expenses. It really was just me being lazy and not like going through the budget and making sure that everything was okay as I normally do. But that's why it's really important to like, do your monthly calendars and like do your budget overview, just so that you have that peace of mind. So that's why I kind of was a little lazy about it once my schedule kind of like changed a little. And then at least for me, when that happens, it's kind of hard to get back into the routine. So having my routine kind of not how it usually was, just because I had to work extra, kind of threw me off a little bit. But I'm back, and we're fine. Now let's get into the highlights for the month of May. Now, because it was a magic month for May, I got 3 paychecks, and I did work a little bit extra. I got paid a little bit over $10,000, so I brought home $10,009.51. And I also had to include some deposits from my savings, just because I had my progressive payments. It was also Mother's Day, and I did have some like miscellaneous spending, like I had to get my passport renewed. And so things like that, I kind of wanted to just kind of use a little bit of savings, because again, I'm really aggressively trying to pay down all my student loans, so that's always going to be a priority for me. But the bills, they do have to get paid. So all in all, the deposits that I had, which included whatever I got paid from my job as well as some savings, was about $11,867.51. I did do my ties, but those were just only for 2 paychecks. And when we get into June, you'll see that I had to go back and like pay for the last paycheck as well as my first paycheck. So yeah. In regards to like some of the expenses that I had, so I pay my car insurance every 6 months. So my progressive bill was due, and that was $1,038. So that got paid. That was not from sinking funds. I basically just kind of paid it through with my savings. But right now I am putting the amount for the next one in sinking funds. There's a lot changing with my sinking funds, but we'll talk about that in the month of June. So yeah, so that was my progressive. Mother's Day was also in May, and I literally went over the budget. I think I had a budget of like 100 or like 150. Definitely almost went double that. But my mom had an amazing Mother's Day, and she was super happy. So whenever she's happy, I'm happy. And then for family, I did have to spend a little bit more for family. And so it was $858. So that definitely came out of like savings. So I didn't really take account of that because this was like an emergency thing. And then I finally renewed my passport. Yeah, I didn't think it was $130 to renew your passport. I'm thinking it was like $45. No, girl, it's $130 plus you need to do like a money order or like a check. So that's how they take the money out. So then I had to go to the bank and pay $3 for like checks because I don't have a checkbook. And so the total came out to $133. And then for miscellaneous expenses, that was mainly hair. I don't know, last month I really was I don't want to deal with my hair because I have a little bit of heat damage, definitely for sure in the front of my hair because it's a lot less roots or curls. And so when I was doing my little DIY silk presses, honey, I definitely got some heat damage. But the wigs, they're really cute, and they were like from the beauty supply store. When I got online, really reasonable. So it was like $151.29. Low-key kind of regret it, but low-key I don't, because I know I'm gonna want to get back into it. So I know I have those there. So it's just there just in case when I don't want to deal with my hair, like for real, and I can just throw it on and go about my business. For gas this month, we spent $195.18, which was really good. I think I budgeted like 300 or like 250. So being under is really good, especially because gas is going up every time I blink. There's like 10 cents or 25 cents added. So yeah. Um and for my debts, I'm really happy that I paid like $4,000, just a little bit over, and I'm just super happy about that because I really wanted to hit my goal of spending like of putting towards my debts $3,500, and I did surpass that. So I'm really excited about that. So that's basically like the rundown for my May budget in regards to like what's been going on. Yeah, whenever I fall off like that, it's usually because like, you know, some every time summer is coming, I promise you, I feel like I don't every time summer is coming around, I promise you, I feel like I don't want to budget. I don't want to do anything, but I know I have to be very careful with my budget, especially because my birthday is coming up in a few weeks, and I know I want to go hit up Sephora, go to Target, do all the things, buy a cute outfit, you know, just to go to church and whatever because I feel like I deserve it, or to go to dinner. So like, yeah, I have to definitely like slow it down and remember that I have a goal and I do need to prioritize like my debts. And I can definitely, you know, splurge on some things, but I have to prioritize, you know, my bills and the student loans. So thank you guys for watching this video. It's not, you know, the usual like I'm used to doing because I'm a lot more like, you know, thorough with things, but because I'm like catching up from like not budgeting for a couple of weeks, this is basically how I do it. I think if you're someone who kind of like has fallen off and you need to catch up, definitely go through like your spending tracker, like literally do a spending like week by week thing, or like write everything down and then just go ahead and highlight and categorize stuff, and then break it down in regards to like these categories, and then just see kind of how things go. In regards to like anything that went over, nothing really, just probably my personal, because I did buy those wigs and those were miscellaneous. I didn't have any crazy shopping. Work food wasn't crazy because I did budget for that. And then I did put more into my debt, but that's always good. And then my cash envelopes were basically pretty fine. I had already like budgeted for that. So everything looks pretty good. So nothing too crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and next one will be a breakdown of my June budget. I get paid this week, but I have not touched my June budget for my paycheck number one, so we'll go ahead and break that down, and I'll share with you like what's basically the same routine, but I usually love coming on here and doing it with you guys, so that's going to be the next video. So if you guys have any questions, don't forget to comment down below, like this video, and subscribe, so you'll be getting a lot more of those from me coming up for the summer. So have a nice day. Bye guys.